Okay, this here is the Fleece tap shifter for the 03 to 05 Duramax. This will actually work with the 8.1 liter vortec V8 with the Allison as well. So what you got is the wiring harness here, and then below that is the shifter. And this is actually the GM part. They just include it with the kit. And yeah, so it also comes with the Torx bit that you're going to need. And I will show you how to install this. Alright, first thing you need to do is disconnect both batteries. One there, one on the other side. And then you're going to need to grab a 10 mil, and you're going to want to take off these two bolts. There's one here and one on the other side. This is the TCM transmission control module, and behind it, well, this is just the cover, but behind it you can see is the actual computer, and it'll have two plugs on it, and that's what we need to get to. So this just pops right off. Okay, so there's what the cover looks like. It goes in there like that, and it's got two clips on the top, two clips on the bottom. TCM just sits right in the middle. So this here's the TCM. You can see it's got two connectors. It's got one that's labeled R, and another that's labeled G. The R's on top, that's the one we're going to be unplugging and plugging the connector into. I'll show you. So here's what this thing looks like. This is what we're going to be plugging into the red, or the top plug, and it's just like a bypass. So you'll plug the one that was plugged in there before into this, and what it does is it adds this new connection, and it's already pinned in, and so we're going to run this through the Firewall and plug it into the actual shifter. So I'll show you that later, but this is kind of the layout, kind of what's going on here. And so for the LB7 kit, the 01 to 02 is going to be different because it'll have an extra pin that's coming out of here, and that will need to be pinned into the lower gray plug that's on the TCM. Now I'm not going to be showing that because I have an LLY, which fortunately has overdrive as an option, which is why I don't need to add that extra plug into it, I believe. So yeah. Okay, so here's the TCM. Got the new plug in here. It's just coming out and around, and it's plugged back into here. There's the old one, stock one. So then that plugs into there, and then you can see right here is the cord that it had coming off of it. So I just have that hanging out right now. But so we're done here. So we can just clamp this back in, tuck this to the side, and then on to the next step. Okay, so here's the TCM put back together. You see you've got this little cord coming out of the top one. That's what we just plugged in. So underneath it, we've got the red connector. That's where we plugged the old one back into. And you can see there's the wire that comes from the truck for the TCM. You just want to kind of tuck this under here. And I got to do some more finagling so it's not touching this upper radiator hose. But that's it right down there. And you can push it down. But this we're going to bring up and through the Firewall. And I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about the installation of this, but none of them really show how to get your wires through the Firewall very well. So a lot of YouTubers suggest that you cut a hole and push them through here, that grommet, because that's your main truck harness, and that goes right to your footwell. But I've tried to take that apart, and it's just like locked in there, and it's really difficult to take apart, and I don't feel comfortable poking a hole through it or cutting it because that's the main truck harness, and those are expensive, and I don't want to take a chance damaging that. So instead, what I did is I just drilled a hole which is right back here, kind of in the middle of the engine bay, and it's got a center punch in it already, like they were designed to put something there, maybe for the snowplow prep package or something. But I drilled a 1 1/4 inch hole there, and you can see I've got it taped up, which isn't the best solution, but it's better than nothing. I need to get a rubber grommet to put in there to seal it off, but that's what I had to do for now. And I've already got some wires running through there, but that will allow me to get my auxiliary wires through, and I will show you where that hole leads to. Okay, so right down, right up above there, that's the hole. And so you got the gas pedal right there, and so that's what it looks like right there. So now I'm going to run this portion back through that hole back there. All right, cable is routed. Okay, so now on the inside, we're going to need to take off this dash bezel, and it just pops off, but we're going to need to put the key in and turn the ignition on so that we can put the shifter into first gear, and that will allow us to easily get this bezel off and bring the column down so that we can take this column cover off as well. But before you do that, make sure you put your parking brake on and you chalk up your wheels. Okay, now with the dash bezel off, we need to take off this lower kick panel, and it's got 2 7mm bolts on the bottom and then 2 clips on the top and each side. So go ahead and take that off. Okay, you can see you got the kick panel off now and the bezel off. So now you want to put your steering wheel kind of in a low position, and then you want to pull off this telescope handle. It should just pop right out. Okay, now underneath, you're going to have 2 holes in the middle, and then 1 to the left. There's going to be a T25 Torx bit in that one, and on some trucks there's one down here. That one's just blank, but I didn't have one in here. So go ahead and take those off, and then you can unclip this bottom piece of the cover, and just be careful not to break any of the tabs. Okay, now we got that steering column cover off. You got to be really careful not to bend any of the pins, and try to pry off at the front first on the left and right side, and then work your way back, and then the bottom will come out and then the top will come out, but it clips together in the back, so that's why you want to start pulling out the front pins first. And then under here you can see you've got this little plate. You can take that out for better access, which I'm going to show you. There's just 2 10mm on that side and 2 10mm on that side, and that'll give us better access to the clip we need to get right back there. Okay, kick plate is now removed, so you can follow up to the shifter and you can remove the boot, and then right underneath that you can see where it connects. You've got an orange wire. You're going to want to follow that down to the clip and unclip it, clip the zip ties, and unplug it. Okay, now you can see we've got this orange wire unplugged. It just came from right there, kind of hard to see. And then it's got 2 little clips on it, one here, and then one back up in there. And now, on the top, you're gonna see there's a little, it's kind of dark, but right here's a T25, and that's the Torx bit that's included in the kit, so you're gonna want to loosen that. Okay, now the T25 is removed, so now the shifter can just be popped right off, and then we'll slide in the new one and reverse our process. Okay, new shifter's in. There's another look at that T25. Now we're gonna route this back in, plug it into the same pins, and plug it in down there. There we go. Got a clip there, and then the wire comes down, and then the wire that you brought over from the engine bay, you plug the shifter into the big one, and then you plug the small one into where you unplugged the old shifter from. And then now it should be done, and so now you just got to put everything back together and tuck this wire up in here. Alrighty, got the kick panel on, got the bezel on, and there's the shifter. Look at that. Isn't that something? Just a little before and after for you. Okay, I'm just going to show the final product in here. So there's the hole that I drilled, and you can see now I've got this wire loom around it. This is 1 inch, so it's pretty big. It's this gray one here, you can see. So it's pretty oversized, but I'm going to plan to use it to just as an auxiliary firewall bypass, so that eventually I'll put more things. I'll need to get more things through for lights and stuff or whatnot. So it's nice to have that route, and it's real easy. It just slips right on, and I can always take it off and adjust it later. But yeah, it creates a perfect little seal right there. I've got it routed around, then up and over, and it goes to the almost to the power box. And then down there, it's got the wire split